Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm actually going to respond to a few separate comments that are related to working as a paraprofessional. So these are three separate comments, and I felt like I should respond to them via video, just because sometimes it's easier for me to respond in video format than it is to try to explain something in a comment in the comment section. So this one I actually responded to in the comment section, but I also wanted to talk about it on a video because I'm sure that a lot of other people had the same questions. So this one was left on my video titled Hiring Process for Special Education Paraprofessional. And this person says, did they make you pay for your own background check? So in that video, I was talking about like all of the different steps that I had to go through during the hiring process before I started working at the school. And part of that was having to get fingerprinted at the sheriff's department, as well as going through an extensive background check process. So the school actually paid for the background check themselves, and none of that was like I had to pay for anything. All I had to do was sign a form and the school did the rest. So as far as the fingerprints, I do want to tell you that I had to pay for those myself, and the school did not like reimburse me in a future check. Like there was never any reimbursement for it. I think it cost like $60 or somewhere around there, just in case you're someone who has to go get fingerprinted. I'm not sure if you use like Identigo or one of the other fingerprinting services like LiveScan or whatever. I'm not sure if those actual places where you can make an appointment and go in charge more than the local sheriff's department does, but I just walked into my local sheriff's department. They did it right there, and I paid somewhere around $60. So that is that. Let's see, where was the other one? Okay, so this comment was left on my video titled Minor Channel Update, and she asked, I have bad social anxiety, but I was thinking about being a para in special needs. Do you think this would be a good job for me? So first of all, same. I have horrible social anxiety, and I would say that while anxiety can definitely affect your day-to-day process as someone who is working in general, not just in special education, but who is working in general, I think social anxiety has a lot of effects on working. But I think that once you find your rhythm, you're able to overcome social anxiety. At least I was. I feel like some of the times I still had an issue, like if the teacher asked, like had to step out for some reason and asked me to run the class. Sometimes like my heart would start beating super fast, and even though it was, working with small children, I still got very, very anxious about having to do that. But after a while, you just kind of get into the rhythm of things, and you do form close connections with the students that you're working with, especially if you are working with the same exact students on a day-to-day basis, which most of the time you are, whether you are a one-to-one paraprofessional or somebody that's working in a classroom or with a small group or with resource students. You usually do encounter the same students day in and day out, basically, because you're mostly just working with the same age group and with students within the school that you work at. So I do think that you're able to kind of start forming those connections, and it becomes less anxiety, I feel like. At least it did for me. So I can't really speak to what you would experience on a daily basis because I don't know to what extent social anxiety kind of takes over your life at times. But I know for me, I do have like kind of horrible social anxiety, and after being in that setting and working with the students for a period of time, I was eventually able to overcome most of the social anxiety. Like I said, whenever the teacher would have to step out of the classroom and ask me to run the classroom, I would kind of, like get heart palpitations and start freaking out a little bit, but it's not that bad once you get used to what your daily responsibilities are. I will say though, let me just tell you, like, sometimes you would have like the special education coordinator walk into the room and, or some person in administration walk into the room to kind of observe what's going on, or just to ask a question, or, whatever, just to check in. And that also kind of made me nervous just because it was out of the ordinary and wasn't really something that happened on a normal basis. So it did kind of, make my anxiety ramp up a little bit, but you do get used to working with the students. And I will say that working with children with special needs, sometimes they are the most understanding. Like, they totally feed off your vibes, and sometimes like they just know what to do. Like, there's been times where I've had super anxiety going on, and like one of my students would come up to me and just give me a hug, and it kind of made everything better. So I would say definitely it's worth it to work with special needs students. So there's that one. Now there was one more. Okay, so this is from the same person that left the question about paying for your own background check. And this was left on my video titled Narcan Kits in Every Classroom, where I was talking about like the drug problem in the community and how the health department gave teachers at least 2 Narcan kits for every single classroom. And I kind of talked about how the school that I worked at had Narcan kits hanging in the hallway, and working in an elementary school, it kind of freaked me out. So anyways, this question was, do you enjoy being a paraprofessional? So for those of you who haven't watched any of my recent videos, you may not know that I actually resigned recently from my special education paraprofessional job. I have not made that video yet explaining kind of my reasonings for everything. I still will post that, but I'm not really ready to kind of talk about everything and how, upset I was having to make that decision. But I definitely enjoyed working with the students. I enjoyed a lot of things about working with different students, not just the special education students, but also the gen ed students that I would encounter, bringing my one-to-one students into their classrooms. And I definitely enjoyed it. There was always something different. There was always something that you could learn. The students definitely taught me a lot. And it just felt great to be able to make a difference in someone's educational journey. I honestly miss working as a special education paraprofessional, but there were a lot of issues that went into like my reason for resigning. And like I said, if you're curious about why I resigned and all that, I will go in depth into my reasons in that video. So stay tuned for that. It's been just under 3 weeks since I resigned, so it's still very fresh. I still miss my students every day. I formed a lot of close bonds, and I definitely enjoyed coming into the classroom and seeing their little faces and seeing their smiles and being able to talk to them and interact with them. And I definitely miss them. And I think that if you become a special education paraprofessional, you will definitely find out what I mean when I say that you form a very close bond with your students. I definitely think it's worth it. And I really did enjoy working as a special education paraprofessional while I did. I think it was a wonderful experience, and definitely something that I wouldn't change. So anyways, those are all of the questions that I wanted to address in today's video. If you guys have any other questions that you would like me to discuss on my channel, or any topics you'd like me to talk about, anything, please let me know, and I would be glad to get something filmed for you. With that being said, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys next time.